So I love a good chat, but I think we are going to begin our service this morning. And the first thing I have for you are just some announcements, some reminders. And the first one I want to remind you, since we are a community based on prayer, and you guys, prayer works. And if you haven't been in a class to learn about prayer treatment, you really need to do that because it so works. And you have some forms in front of you, and I think they're all purple, although some may be yellow. And there's, on the new ones, you can check if you would like the person, one practitioner picks up the prayer requests that are in the box out in the library every day, or if you fold them up and put them in the offertory. What we put on there, the practitioners put on the new ones, is do you want the prayer request shared with all the other practitioners and ministers? If you have an old form and it doesn't ask you that, just make a note if you don't want it shared, or if you do want it shared. Otherwise, the whole prayer team will pray on your prayer requests. Okay. Is there anyone here for the first time today? All right. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Did you get a packet and a free book? Oh, and the yellow card. Is it in the pew or in the packet? So we can keep, we don't keep track of you, but we let you keep track of what we're doing. So, okay. Downstairs, after the service, there are always goodies and coffee, and so you're invited to come down and chat and get more chatting done. There are some announcements on the back of your program, and just take them home and look at them. I don't need to go over the whole things. And just a reminder, next Sunday is our potluck Sunday, and we always have loads of people here to share the food and the good and all of that. So welcome. We're so glad you're here. And our music this morning is Ari Harris. Hello. And you know we love Ari. Hello. And the message, Cheryl Gass, a practitioner here, and one who, I might as well tell you, keeps everything in order around here, and yeah, keeps us knowing what we're doing and when we're doing it, and yeah. So, all right, shall we stand and sing?
We shall. Let's do it. All right, we're going to sing a Ricky Byers Beckwith song. I'm going to get a little soulful with an intro before I bring you all in, okay? There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all by myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've gotta let it all go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the for you. If you'll sing with me. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to walk through our every fear. For Spirit, one Spirit is in this very room, is in this very room, and in this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to walk through our every fear. From Spirit, one Spirit is in this very room, is in this very room, is in this very room.
Good morning, friends. Please join me in going within, knowing there is one mind, one energy, one power that is mine now. And what I know to be true for myself, I know to be true for everyone, everywhere. The one mind is infinite. It exists everywhere, in, as, and through all creation. This being said, everything and everyone is connected. Each one of us is connected to everything else, animate and inanimate. My human mind tries to grasp the infinite, beautiful connections. This morning, we are open to connecting with the message, the talent of the musicians, and the fellowship with like minds in attendance. With a grateful heart, I release these words to the law that always says yes. And if anything in this resonates with you, please say with me, and so it is. In your bulletin, on the first page, there is a group affirmation. Please read with me. The more I recognize the divine goodness flowing into my life, the greater it flows. This change of focus can shape my day. Making it my habit could change my life, and so it is.
Good morning. This Sunday's reading is from the Science of Mind magazine, Daily Thoughts. It's from page 53, entitled Choose Wisely. And just before I begin, in this day and age, what I'm going to read is is a simple but profound truth that I think that I have struggled with every day, and I'm sure that you can resonate with that. It begins with a couple of quotes under Choose Wisely. Ancient spiritual tradition reminds us that in each moment of the day, we make the choices that matter, that are either to affirm or deny our lives. That's from Greg Braden from The Divine Matrix. And from Ernest Holmes' Creative Mind, he says, each person is an individual, and that means self-choice, backed by a power that will produce the thing chosen. And the message: being humanly divine and divinely human, one of the gifts we have is the great gift of choice. And it is a gift many of us take for granted. In fact, some of us don't even know we have that power of choice. We have the power to choose what to eat, what to wear, where to go. We get to choose our friends and the people we associate with. Most importantly, we get to choose the thoughts that we keep. In his book, The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace Wattles writes, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner space of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined by the thought. This has been said in many different ways. What you think about, you bring about. As a person thinketh in their heart, so are they. It is done unto you as you believe. You see, we get to choose how you think, feel, and act. There are no outside factors that can force you to feel any certain way. You choose how you respond or how you react to what has been said or done. Thoughts are things, so choose wisely. And the affirmation to conclude: I choose to be free. I choose to be peace. I choose to be the joy of the infinite. Thank you.
The path is long, but I am calm. Only I can hold out hope. The road it winds, I realize. Only I can keep the faith. I close my eyes and listen. Only I can hear inside. When I stop and listen, I always hear I am enough. When it all gets hard and it's lost its charm, only I can bring the joy. In the hardest times, I come to find only I can shine my light. I close my eyes and listen. Only I can hear inside. song to sing, and cycles go round and round. I close my eyes and listen. Only I can hear inside. When I stop and listen, I always hear I am enough. Oh, I am enough, I am enough. Thank you.
Well, good morning. Well, Donna in her opening prayer and Shannon in her beautiful reading has completely decimated my talk. So, no, actually it's added to it. It's brought to the forefront what we should be thinking about and how we should be living our lives. So I love the thought that our minds reflect our hearts. Isn't that so true? Or is it? Is that true for you? That does your heart actually reflect what you're thinking? Or does your thinking reflect how your heart's reacting to it? I love that phrase, but let's get on into it. So today the talk is embodying abundance. And there's actually, it is a thing. It's not just I'm embodying abundance, but it's known as, it's a way of thinking and living that focuses on the abundance of opportunities and possibilities in life, and embracing a mindset of gratitude and optimism. So when things are going really rough in your life, how optimistic are you? Yeah, it's not really one of those things that we think about when we're in that pit or we're in that place where things seem like they're just not unfolding as we desire. But can you embody that optimism? Can you embody the truth of abundance? Abundance not only in your wealth, but abundance in your health, abundance in your relationships, abundance in your creative energy, the things that you create within your life. Does that embody abundance for you, or is that just something that you think about and think, I should really be thinking more about abundance rather than living it? So along with knowing that you're embodying abundance, you have to have emotional abundance, and that is to feel, understand, and manage your emotions. How good are you at managing your emotions? Yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't feel them. Of course you're going to feel what you feel. And I'm not saying that you have to understand why you're feeling the way you are, although it does help if you do understand why you're feeling that way. If there's some past transgression or betrayal, whatever it is that's reflected in your outer attitude, in the energy that surrounds you. Have you put up this barrier, in other words? When you don't understand what you're feeling, you have a tendency to just react. And instead of reacting, can you manage those feelings in a way that allows you to respond to life in a positive, optimistic way? Not always. You know, y'all hear me talk about our buttons. You know, we all have our buttons. You know what I'm talking about? Well, if you're not here before. Those buttons are the things that people push that set your emotions on fire, or set you on fire, or get you just to the point where you're so upset about something, but then you realize that you're taking it personally. You're creating the buttons. You're the one that put them there. You're the one that made it possible for somebody to step into your life and get in your head and make you have that feeling of lack or limitation. But the truth of who you are, as Shannon said, is that we are spiritual beings, that we are here to embrace all the things that we feel, all the things that we understand about the way we feel, and the way we manage it. Some manage better than others. I know I have my moments when I'm not managing my emotions, and then I think, God, that wasn't very good of you, Cheryl. But what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and beat yourself up about past transgressions, or are you ready to step into the now and to live in the present moment, to be that person that you are innately, the creature that you were invented or created, or however you want to think about it, evolved into? Are you just ready to step into the truth of who you are? That you're a beloved child of God. No matter how you appear in this world, no matter what somebody says about you, no matter what you say about yourself, which is worse if it's not positive, but all of those things reflect how well you're emotionally balancing your life. And so one of the things that you have to do to get to that place of embodying abundance, and being that optimism, and being that person that just knows that life is nothing but potential and possibilities, that we are limitless. The only limits are the ones that we've created within ourselves, the ones that we have told ourselves, or somebody else told us and we believed them, that we are limited. Oh, you can't do that. You're not big enough. You're not old enough. You're not this enough. Whatever it is. But have you embraced that and put it into your mindset so that you no longer can go to that place of knowing, I am a beloved child of God? Have you ever said that to yourself and believed it? Is it just words that you say? Is your abundance, you say, I'm abundant, I know I'm abundant, without going into spiritual bypass, which is, everything in my life is falling apart, but everything is perfect just the way it is. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to have those moments. We're going to have that time when everything just doesn't resonate in our lives. We're going to have those upsets. But is that upset holding you back? Is it temporarily creating that doubt, that lack, that feeling within you? And are you able now, at this point in your life, just to say, oh, well, go on, let's move forward, let's go forward. So part of that is challenging our old beliefs about what is right and what is wrong, what is normal, what is love, what is hate, what is diversion, what is all these things that we have accumulated on our path to this point in our lives that have changed the way that we see ourselves, that made us doubt ourselves, or made us think that we are not good enough, we're not worthy. But we are. We always are. No matter what's going on, no matter how bad an experience has been, and even if you created it, you're still a spiritual being that just has so much love and so much tenderness and so much joy and goodness within you, no matter how you're presenting yourself to the world. So how are you presenting yourself? Are you ready to just say, I know who I am, and I like who I am. Actually, I love who I am. Do you say that to yourself? I think at one time I told you, I have a friend, and every morning when she gets up, she looks herself in the eye, in the mirror, and says, I love you so much, and then gives herself a kiss. Can you actually say that you do that for yourself, that you wake up in the morning feeling like, I just love myself so much? I'm not talking about being a narcissist or being egotistical. I'm talking about just loving innately this gift of life that has been given to you. Can you just say that I wake up in the morning and I love my life just the way it is right now? Because part of embodying abundance is recognizing the abundance that's already in your life. Look at this. We live in a nation. People have fears, people have joy, people have love, but we live in probably the best circumstances of 99% of the people on this planet. Most of us have homes. Even if we don't, we have resources. There's so many things out there for us that we get tangled up in the things that we don't have. I don't have the perfect house, and I'm not driving the greatest car, and I'm just, my life is just, I'm so full of lack, I'm so full of limitation. But goodness gracious, you have a house, you have a car, you have a life. And are you just putting down all that good, all those things that you should be grateful for, just because of something that you don't have? Have you ever thought about that? That we get ourselves tied up in this position to where I must have this, I must have that to be happy. Have you ever just tried to be happy just with who you are and within this life that you already have? This perfect life that you already have. Perfect in the sense that you are under a dry roof, you have clothes on your body, and you wake up in a bed in the morning. Are you just grateful just for waking up in the morning? But that gratitude is what allows you to embrace your abundance. When you start seeing gratitude and you just feel so much joy about what you already have, no matter what it is, no matter how it's appearing. Maybe it's a health issue, maybe it's a wealth issue, maybe it's a relationship issue. All of these things that you get tied up in with forgetting about all the things that you already have. And so to do this, though, to release these old challenging beliefs about yourself, you have to release the pattern of thinking that got you there. You know, every time something goes wrong, oh, I should have known better. I didn't do this. I should have done that. I should have. Don't should on yourself anymore. Because you can't say, I should have done this. All you can do is just keep going. Pick your, oh, is that God calling? I didn't know. Is he ready to join us? I had a pastor once that when the phone went off, because we reminded everybody before service, turn your cell phone off, and he would go and take the phone and say, hello, right in the middle of service, and start talking to whoever called. He goes, yeah, we're in service. This is Joe Hooper. How are you? It was hilarious, but guess what? Nobody forgot to turn their phone off after that. But replacing old thinking and old patterns of being, it's like moving furniture. It's like you have a bed, this big, bulky bed, but you want to replace it with a new one. But first, you got to pick up that stuff, and you got to haul it out, and it's heavy, and you get all sweaty, and you're just like, ugh, this is awful. But in order to make room for new, you always have to get rid of something. Well, not necessarily. You could be a hoarder, but, you know, you really and truly what you want to do is you don't just think, I have to get rid of the bed. You're just going to move the bed, and you're replacing it with something better. You're always replacing it with something better. You can't sit there and beat yourself up for thinking, I thought those thoughts, I had all this resentment for my mother, my father, my ex, my whatever. I had all this resentment, and think about how much room that took up in your mind. When there was, if you could just let go of that, just bless them on their path. As I always say, bless them and just say, I pray for their best and furthest good. And so that usually works for me. But you still have to think about blessing that person. And I found that when I started doing that, when I started having so much more forgiveness in my life, when I could see them not by their actions and not by what they said, but innately what they were. They're spiritual beings, just like I am. No matter how badly they behaved, no matter how much the experience of evil they have created, they're still spiritual beings. And it's really strange when you can just meet somebody and no matter what, you know, you're supposed to be afraid of them, they're supposed to be this or that, and if you just approach them as a normal human being, like, hey, how's it going, you know, it's amazing how people will respond in return. When you respond with fear, you get fear. But when you respond with love, you usually get love. How much love are you putting out there? And I'll tell you what, you can't love anybody else until you love yourself. Not truly. Until you truly accept yourself just as you are and love all of your little quirks, all of your little foibles, all those things, they're still just part of who you are. And you know, some of them need work and some of them not so much work. But still, can you just completely let go of that old pattern of thinking that you're not worthy or that you're less than or that I'm too tired, I'm too old. And by the way, I want to tell y'all, age is not a cage. But it's true. It's old as you think you are. And some people think they're a lot older than they are. So it's just the way you live your life. And it's coming from that place of joy that is always within you. It's always there. And so if you're looking at the most eternal optimist, Jesus, Jesus was an eternal optimist because he believed that once he showed you the way to live in peace, to love greatly, and to thrive, that everybody would just do that. But like I said, he was an optimist. But can you be that optimist? Can you be optimistic to know that you can live in peace and that you can love greatly and that you thrive because of it? Can you live from that place of that Jesus lived from? You know, some people say Jesus was a rabble-riser and he was just he created so much discord. But no, he just came with a message of peace and love and forgiveness. The only three things that you really need in life. If you can love greatly, you will receive great love. If you can thrive, then others around you will thrive as well. So it's not just you you're taking care of. You're taking care of this oneness, this connection that we have, that we're all just one body, one spirit. What happens to you happens to me. If you can look at it from that point of view, I am spirit in action. Right now, in this moment, I am spirit in action. You have to remind yourself sometimes about that during the day because, you know, we're humans. We still have our human emotions. We still have all the things that make us human, but we're also spiritual. We're also spiritual beings made from the energy of the universe. We're all just energy coexisting together. So the one thing that makes it hard to change this pattern or to challenge old beliefs is because change is for some of us not very pleasant because we expect things to stay the same. But they don't. We have to grow. We have to grow with the change. And the challenges and things will appear in our life and you'll think, what did I do to bring this into my life? What was I thinking? How did this happen? But the reality is things happen. But it's your resilience. It's your ability to see the truth of who you are that gets you through these things. That doesn't set you down and put you into the mud for more than a few minutes. But you don't get to stay down there and wallow in it. You just get up and you just keep going. You keep moving forward. And setbacks are just temporary. Can you think of a setback that is still affecting you today? If it's affecting you emotionally, let it go. No matter what it is. Because, yes, we have grief, we have sadness, we have things that come into our life. But our job is to live this life, this gift to the fullest. To embrace it. To just find joy in everything. And that's hard to do at times, I know. But just remember, life responds to you according to how you believe. Jesus said that so many times. It is done unto you according to your belief. So if you believe that your life is difficult, that you're always going to be in debt, that you're always going to be poor, you're always going to have sadness, you're always going to have these things, then guess what? You will. Because that is your belief. You have built the belief of an unfulfilled life. Do you want an unfulfilled life? I think not. I think that we all want to feel like we're just operating at our optimal, that we're just at the best that we could possibly be. And so, embodying abundance is a mindset. And I'm going to remind you what embodying abundance means. It's a way of thinking and living. So it's not only just what's on your head, it's in your actions. So how are you living? That focuses on the abundance of opportunities and possibilities in life. How many of you focus on possibilities? Most of us are focusing on, I've got to pay the bills, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. How many times do you just sit down and just think about all the possibilities in life and think of yourself as able to do whatever it is that you desire? Because guess what? We have free will. We get to choose how we live our lives. We get to choose. We can blame it on other people. We can say, I can't do this because of this person. I can't do that because of this. But the reality is, you can do whatever you desire. And that can come out in two different ways. It can come out that you're living a life that's full of joy and abundance, or you're living a life that's creating problems and issues for everybody around you. Which one do you want to be? So, focusing on abundance that already exists in our lives. How do you focus on the abundance that already exists? How do you just let go of the old? It's become such a dear friend. I've been in conflict with myself for so long. How on earth could I possibly change? How can I stop thinking that I'm less than when my mother, my father, my teachers, everybody said, oh, you can't do this, you're not capable, it's impossible. I actually had a teacher say, you're not good enough to do a talk on the platform on Sunday. I mean, right after I graduated from ministerial school, you're not capable of doing that. And oh man, that just set my head on fire, because then I was like, I'm going to do this, I don't care what he says. But how many times have you done that? When somebody said, you can't do this because of we don't have enough money, we don't have this, we don't have that. But if you set your mindset to it, it's amazing what you can do. You can just say, I can do this. I know I can. I know I'm capable. I know it is within me. But can you let go of the old thinking, the old pattern of being, and you come into this new way of believing, a new way of feeling, a new way of understanding? Because part of getting rid of old beliefs is going back and trying to figure out where the heck you started thinking that way. How did you start thinking that you were less than? Somebody said one thing to you and you embodied it, you embraced it. Well, what about somebody says to you, you're the most lovely and wonderful person I know? How many of you go, oh, shucks, no, I'm not, you know? But you are. You are. And you allow other people to define who you are when you take their words and embody them into you. But you don't need to do that. You don't have to do that. You can just say, that is not the truth of who I am. And I said that to people who said, you do this, and I just look at them and say, I'm sorry, that's not who I am. I know who I am. I don't need you to define me. I can define myself very well, all by myself. Thank you very much. So how many of you just how many words and how many things have you been carrying around in there for so many years that somebody said to you at one time that has reflected on how your mind and how your body and how your feelings have developed from one word? I remember one time this guy said, I can remember the 5 meanest things my mother ever said to me, and then blump, 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 all 5 of them. And I looked at it, and he said, and it just hurt me so bad, it's hurt me all these, and I just talked about it, and I said, how long did it take her to say that? Each one of them, how long? He said, about a minute. I said, so you've let 5 minutes of your life define who you are? Have you allowed somebody with their careless words, maybe spoken anger or maybe just thoughtless, define who you are? That's sad. We can't do that. We define who we are. So, what's the best way to change your life? How can you do it? First of all, gratitude. Gratitude for what you have now in this moment. Gratitude for the past and the lessons it brought to you. Gratitude knowing that as you move forward, that everything, the infinite, is always on your side, that you are projecting the infinite. Even when you're misbehaving, you're still projecting. You're projecting on other people. And how many thoughtless words have you said to others that, without even thinking about it, or in a moment of frustration or whatever, and then you regret it later? What do you do about it? Do you just regret it? Or do you forgive yourself and then ask for forgiveness from that other person or that other situation? Because when you do that, you clean out that space. It no longer has residence in your head. You're no longer giving free rent to bad thoughts. It's time for the new thoughts to replace those. So if life responds to you the way that you respond to it, what about that? Whatever you're putting out, you're getting back. And you know what's really sad is when you get something back that you don't even realize you put out there. You know, maybe one time you go into that deep place of darkness, that darkness. I don't call it the dark night of the soul because the soul can't have a dark night. Only our minds can. So I call it a dark night of the mind. Our souls don't have darkness. It's only light. And so when you go to that place, how do you shake yourself free? What do you do to let go of that? Can you first of all just forgive yourself for thinking that way in the first place? Can you forgive the other person? Not even letting them know that you forgave them, just letting it go, just saying, I forgive you. I don't have to go and tell you I forgive you because you probably don't care that I forgive you. Because most of the times when we're beating ourselves up about things and laying awake at night, just crazy mindset going, the other person's sleeping like a baby, not even thinking about it because they don't even realize that it's affected you this way. So it's something that's within yourself that you can find and that you can cure and that you can heal. It's not easy. It's like moving furniture. It's heavy. It takes a while, and it's not pleasant. But once you clean it out, you've got room for that new piece of furniture, that new thought, that new way of feeling, that new way of being. And that's where it comes together. That's when it all comes together. Because then you're reflecting in your life what your thinking is. So, sometimes you'll be, oh, yes, it's so nice. And then you think, who dressed you? Your dog? It's like, what's going on? You have these little niggly, little Barbie, barbs that we throw out without ever saying them. But guess what? They're in your mind still. Those are the things you need to get rid of. Just to appreciate that person, however they're appearing. Just knowing that they are loved. So with that, I would just like to offer you this, that reframe your story. Reframe it to fit the powerful being that you are. In other words, if you've been telling yourself the same story that I'm not smart, I'm not this, I'm not that, then turn around and look at you from the point of God. God is, you have the intelligence, you have everything you need to make yourself a happy life. And I am abundance, being God. I am abundance. And so whatever you desire is yours. You just have to do the work. You have to step up and clear all that stuff out. Make room for the new. And it's hard to be optimistic without sounding like Pollyanna sometimes, because we're optimistic even though things look dark. But we still always know there's always a new day. There's always a new start. There's always a fresh start. And I invite you to make your fresh start right now in this moment. And so with that, I would just like to say thank you for listening and namaste.
All right, well, as I get ready, I'm just going to share this song that I'm going to play. I wrote a few years ago while walking in a labyrinth, and I'm assuming that most people in this room know what a labyrinth is. Yes, it's like a path that goes inward and then back out. Always been a very powerful tool for me in my life, and so this is called Here on the Ground. Stones lie before me, uneven puzzle pieces in the ground. Each step that I move forward, I'm witnessing the path become unwound. It curves and turns and curves again. I walk alone, facing all the unknowns as they come. Here on the ground, I'm no longer in clouds. My feet are earthbound, I am on the ground. Making my way through the labyrinth of life, learning all there is along the way. Here on the ground. Rain starts to fall from far above. The moss is like a sponge between the stones. I sit down on a boulder grass at my feet. Birds are singing, welcome to the spring. I see where I have been before, but I won't go back again. I am at the center and my eyes are opening. The spirits whisper guidance and they all want me to know I am ready for this journey back outside. It curves and turns and curves again. I walk alone, facing all the unknowns as they come. Here on the ground, I'm no longer in the clouds. My feet are earthbound, I am on the ground. Making my way through the labyrinth of life, learning all there is along the way. When the path leads me on a different way and I don't know where I am, it's hard to get my sights back on my dreams. But I look around me at the trees and I hear the singing in the breeze, and I somehow find the strength to carry on here on the ground. I'm no longer in the clouds, my feet are earthbound, I am on the ground. And I'm making my way through the labyrinth of life, learning all there is along the way. Here on the ground, I'm no longer in the clouds, my feet are earthbound, I am on the ground. And I'm making my way through the labyrinth of life, learning all there is along the way. Here on the ground, here on the ground.
We indeed are blessed to be on the ground of solid truth that we've heard this morning in our wonderful message. And now we have the opportunity to take this change in life that we'd like to see and support ourselves and this community by offering a gift of money, because it takes money to keep the lights on and everything working as it should. So if you have something in mind, pull it out of your wallet or get your checkbook out and write something. And let us look at the offertory affirmation in your program. It starts with the words divine love. Let's say it together. Divine love moving in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I receive. All that I receive. Thank you, God. And so it is.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed. So blessed, I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
It is with a great feeling of gratitude in my heart that I see the beauty in the offering of the gifts, the wonderful treasures that are shared with us this morning, but the time and the energy and the gift of so many who volunteer their services here as a church. It is great to be grateful and to realize that out of that gratitude arises a whole new life for us. So let us be grateful together and say with one voice, and so it is. If you'd like to stand now, in the program there's a prayer of protection we recite together, and then we will sing the peace song. Okay. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is,